Warning: the following program contains adult language, adult themes, and spoilers. Viewer discretion is advised.
1, 2, 3, 4! I'm gonna kill my sister! Running!
Good evening and welcome to this week's episode of This Week's Episode. I'm your host this week, Karen Randazzo, and with me as always is potential future spouse, Kris Randazzo,
Voldemort's underwear?
Bashir with a good beard, Evan Goldstein,
9-9.
and Voldemort under her headscarf, Angie Fernot.
You should wash your hair if you want to be heard.
This is episode 235 for the week of August 5th, 2021. Tonight we'll be discussing We Are Lady Parts Season 1, Episode 1, entitled Play Something. But before we get to that, here's your weekly reminder that you can get in touch with us at mail@geekaid.com. Tell us how your summer's going. Tell us about your favorite TikToker. Tell us who is the best Avenger and why is it Captain America. And while you're at it, you might as well mention something about TV. Some of the people around here care about that too. We always want to hear from you, the listener. So, how you guys doing? Yeah, me too. I mean, probably different causes, but
Well,
it's that kind of week.
I just want to apologize to our listeners that
No, listener, you had it right.
that
I just want to apologize to Ferg.
sorry,
I just
first.
want to say I'm sorry to everyone for everything, but also sorry we were gone forever. It's
Been a
been
minute.
it's been a really busy July, so that month is gone now and doesn't exist anymore. It didn't happen. So here we are. It's August. Yay!
Yay! Yes, lots of things happened in July, and we all apologize to our audience for skipping that episode in the middle of the month. Just wasn't going to happen.
That was my birthday, and I said, no, I don't want to. I want to do nothing.
And now it's your woman's birthday, and she
And
said,
she
yes, I
said
do
the
want to.
opposite.
And so we know which one of you cares about the show.
It's
Damn.
her.
I do want to clarify, though, if I sound like I'm not happy to be here, that's not the case. I'm just dying on the inside. I'm screaming internally. Mostly joy, but there's so much discomfort right now that it's hard to express it because I've eaten so much food today. Because that's what you do when it's your birthday, and I'm not sorry.
It's odd because, like, you got your edible arrangement. I made you a ridiculous dinner. My brother gave you a Grubhub gift card. My mother gave you a Grubhub gift card. Like, people are forcing food into our lives.
Like, guys, we're getting married. This is not the time to feed me. But also thank you, because I never say no to food. This is the best gift ever.
The edible arrangement was nice.
Oh, my God.
Well, just wait until you see what you're getting for your wedding then.
Wait, what?
Just a truckload of bacon.
It's bacon.
Oh, yes. Oh, there was bacon at dinner tonight. Guys, I can't even tell you. It was like melt in your mouth, crispy bacon. It was so good. And the second I bit into it, I was like, I could die right now and it would be okay. I forgot how much I love bacon. I haven't had it in a while.
I went out and I got the syrup covered bacon.
Oh, is that what it was?
So good, yeah.
Oh, you beautiful bastard.
Maple syrup bacon. Anywho, let's
All
talk
right, that's
TV.
enough food porn. How about TV? You guys watch any TV in the last month?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we did. Guess what we finished tonight?
I do not
The
know.
bacon?
Other
All
than
of
that.
it.
Other than that.
We watched the last episode of Sweet Tooth tonight.
Yay!
Yeah, we finished it. It's so good. I need to go read the comic like right now. It's really like I can't wait for the next season to find out what happens. I literally cannot do that. So
We enjoyed the hell out of that. We like powered through like 5 episodes in one day almost.
Yeah.
And then we like, oh, there's only 8, so we gotta space this out because it's not coming back for a while.
Yeah.
So
It was really, really well done. Did you guys like it?
Yes,
Heck
we
yeah,
did.
absolutely loved it. Loved the bejesus out of it. Thought it was phenomenal. Still not reading the comic though.
Why is that?
he doesn't like the art. Remember?
Yeah, I do not like the art for that comic book at all, and I really enjoyed the show, and I'd love to see what happens next. But also, I don't want to get in a position where like the show diverges from the comic in any way that makes me dislike it. So. Yeah, I don't want to suffer through the art to enjoy the rest of the story. I'll just wait for it to come back on TV.
That's fair.
Good point.
I thought you might be at the point like where I am, where I can like kind of ignore it and be like, no, it's worth it. But I can also respect that viewpoint because we all know what happened with Lock and Key. So, you know,
you.
Yeah.
for me. But
It was quite excellent, but it was really different from the source material.
It wasn't excellent, Chris. Oh my god. Anyway, I will say I'm looking forward to also like maybe seeing the differences in this case just to see, because I think that the storytelling in the show is so well done that I might be okay with the differences in the comic. I don't know. I think that this will be an interesting experiment to see what happens if I start with the show and then go to the comic, because with Umbrella Academy, that's kind of what I did. Like, I had read through part of the comic, didn't really remember it, then watched the show, and then went back and looked at the comic, and I was like, no, show's better. So,
Yeah, I had the same experience with the Umbrella Academy comic where I was just like, I don't like this. This is not what I want.
yeah. So, yeah, that was pretty awesome. Watching more British baking show. Crap.
You guys catch any Olympics?
No.
So we don't have live TV in the house, and to actively hunt down and get the app or whatnot for the Olympics. Every time we're someplace and there is Olympics coverage on, I am shocked to go, that's an Olympic sport now? Like golf? Golf is an Olympic sport now, and skateboarding? Like
Skateboarding is, yes.
yeah, like it's not what I remember it, and it wasn't what I've seen wasn't entertaining to me, so I haven't hunted.
Oh
it
man,
down.
I tried watching some of the skateboarding. It was boring as heck.
I like
How'd you make skateboarding boring?
like
I
the
thought
clips.
this was gonna be fun.
The clips
Give
were
me
not
the
even
discus for crying out loud. That's fun. We used to see some burly men throw hammers or people high diving and somehow contorting themselves and making tiny little splashes. How is skateboarding the most boring thing out of all the stuff? No, it's not the most boring thing. That would have to be the equestrian that we watched. Me and the kids watched a few minutes of equestrian thinking, oh, it's going to be horses. They're going to like do the thing where they jump over hurdles and stuff. But it was just like this dude on a horse. And he started in one quarter of this little square field, and he started walking across the field, and the horse took a giant dump. And like, okay, all right.
That was the most interesting thing that happened.
And then me and the kids laughed. We had a good chuckle at it, and then we started watching it, and like, the guy's just trotting with the horse, walking around in a square, and we're like, okay, I guess he's still warming up. And then the announcers start talking about like what a great job he's doing, and then the horse started walking sideways, and they're like, oh, this is magnificent. Oh, and the scores. Look at the points he's getting, the technical scores, and me and the kids are looking at each other like, the horse is walking. What is going on? How is this a
ribbons or
sport?
nothing.
What is happening? And the announcers aren't explaining anything. They're just like, oh, this is magnificent. That just the majesty of all this. And we're just completely gobsmacked by the whole thing. So then we turned it off and watched some target shooting. That was fun.
Although it was one morning, the kids asked, we were like, we've been watching it kind of in the mornings and letting the kids pick an event. And so one morning we said, what do you want to watch? And Ellie said, shooting. And we
Oh,
said,
no.
Oh boy.
No, it's better, because then we turned it on. Chris found like air rifle something or other target shooting, and we turned it on, and she immediately ran over to me and like cowered in my arms, and she was like, "Mommy, why do they have guns?"
Wait.
Oh,
Like, what did you think shooting was?
Wait. I'm so confused right now. Like, she had the wherewithal
So
to say,
was
I want to
I.
see shooting. So that means she should have known what shooting is.
And yet, no.
No. Interesting. Oh,
that's
Why do they have guns?
adorable.
I don't know. how she was like, "Are they going to start killing each other or something?" I'm like, "Yeah, we'd let you watch that." Like the Hunger Games on TV with their
That's
rifles.
a different event. That's Olympic murder.
I was gonna say, just show your kids The Purge. It'll be good for them. God.
I've been enjoying the heck out of the Olympics, honestly. I mean, not like I understand why people in Japan are pretty pissed about it, and I would be too. So, I mean, there is that, but I'm still on the surface level having a good time. I loved all the gymnastic stuff I've been watching. That was pretty neat. The whole Simone Biles thing was fascinating. You know, because like she didn't do great in qualifying either. Like you could just looking at her when she did that first vault before she bowed out, I was like, something's not right with this girl. Like something's wrong. I figured she was hurt, and then when she bowed out, and then the internet is all like, "Oh, she's a quitter." I was like, yeah, well, you try doing what she does. I'm not talking about the pressure. I'm talking about like, if she does it wrong, I said this to Dan last night on Stone Age Gamer. If she does it wrong, she's going to liquefy her bones. Like she's going to running at 65 miles an hour and then flipping through the air 74 times and then landing on her feet. She's going to like run into the vault and cut herself in half. Like if she's not feeling it, let the girl walk off the stage, okay? And then people are all complaining like, man, she just left her team there with nobody to fill her place. There's people whose literal job it is to take her place if she gets hurt. They're called alternates. They're standing right there. They're even wearing different outfits so you can tell them apart. Come on.
And they got a better score than they would have if she stayed in. They got the silver medal in the team final.
They did pretty darn good.
But she was the gold, Chris.
She and look, she still wound up coming back and scoring a bronze anyway. Like, I love how this woman could just kind of stroll up and be like, "Yeah, I'm good. I'm just gonna roll up here and get a bronze." Like, she's amazing, and I loved that stupid tennis guy.
Oh, thank God you're mentioning this.
Wait,
Oh,
I
the
don't know
tennis
anything
guy.
about any of the Olympics, so you got to tell me about this because I didn't know who Simone was until you started giving context clues.
So
Yeah, Simone Biles is like the best athlete in history. She's amazing. She defies logic.
And
I
gravity.
get tired just looking at her.
Cool.
But
Okay.
so this one of the tennis guys was all like, "Yo, this is the Olympics, man. You gotta sack up. You gotta handle the pressure, man. You didn't come out here to be on the stage and have to crumble under pressure, man. You gotta be stronger than that. It's a shame." And then like, dude lost his bronze medal match, threw his racket into the audience, picked up another racket, broke it, and then threw an epic hissy fit and meltdown on the Olympic stage.
Awesome.
How's that pressure working out for you now, jackass?
Dingus.
Was he an American?
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Which
it's
is a
nice
shame,
to-
but you know,
I was gonna say it's nice to not be the only dumb country for once.
he was a white dude, so
That is true.
good old white dudes.
Did you finish that pirate show yet?
Black Sails?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. 'Cause I remember you were close to almost finishing. You're rewatching.
We know what happens when I get too close to finishing.
And then you just stop because you don't want it to be it. But you know that it's over. Like you've watched it already.
That's not the point, honey.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, Billy has made some choices that I don't approve of. I'm having a hard time coming back from that. God damn it, Billy.
So, Billy is the same. What's his real name?
Fuck if I know.
Okay,
He's
so
the guy who. Well, sorry, you go.
He's the big gorilla guy from Umbrella
Luther?
Academy.
Oh my god.
And in Umbrella Academy, he speaks with an American accent, and then on Black Sails, he speaks with what appears to be an English accent, sort of. And then I heard his voice, his real voice, and it was neither of those. I was like, "What the fuck is this?" He's faking two accents. Awesome. So yeah,
It's called acting.
Yeah, I know. But you would-
Yeah,
you
but
would at
he
least
did
think-
it. He acted so good, you know?
They would give it at least once. Like I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I'm enjoying the hell out of it. I've never watched it. I'm almost caught up to where Anne Angie's, so we're gonna have to start watching it together. But
For the record, can I just clarify something? He is British. Like, I just want to put that out there. So
Okay.
it's just the, you know how like
it's a different.
Like
There's
David
different
Tennant would,
Britishes.
yeah, like, yes. You guys get it. Cool. Okay, moving on. Sorry.
So I'm watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and Terry Crews is like one of my favorite characters on the show, and his name is Terry. And I think to myself, did they do that because he can't remember another name, and then this poor guy's got to come up with 2 different accents? Like, that's just good choices, I guess. I don't know.
Look, can we just discuss the fact that Evan's watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, and I didn't have to break his legs to make it happen?
That's awesome.
He did it all on his own, guys. I just came in one day and I was like, why is my phone ringing in another room? It's right next to me. I don't understand. Oh my God, you're watching
I
it.
was never a fan of Andy Samberg on Saturday Night Live. I thought he was ridiculous, and he's not that character on this show.
I say, he's still ridiculous,
He's
but
ridiculous, but it's a different ridiculous. It's quite funny. I laugh out loud a number of times per episode.
you greckle.
What else? We are caught up on Evil.
Oh, damn that show. It's about evil in the church.
And you have damned it.
Yeah, it's such a good show. I started watching The Movies That Made Us, that Netflix miniseries. It was like Die Hard and Jesus, Home Alone. Like, they just go into the backstories of all of these. Ghostbusters is one of them, and it's so interesting to see what goes, like the behind the scenes of the behind the scenes. Like, it's really, really in-depth kind of stuff, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy the hell out of that. Anything else? Oh, and Chris, we can talk now about Masters of the Universe.
Okay.
'Cause
How much have you watched?
all of it. Well, the first
Okay.
half, because it's only the first.
Yeah, it's only half the season.
Half the season.
I'm only 2 episodes in.
Okay.
It's been a hell of a week and change. So I haven't had a ton of time, but I really wanted to try and catch at least one episode of that Jellystone cartoon that we were talking about in our Discord chat, but I didn't get around to doing it. I'm gonna try to at least watch an episode or 2 before our next episode. But so everyone hates Master of the Universe, right? Like,
Yes.
I mean, they just hate this show.
The vocal minority, which are those jackasses on the internet, they hate it. Everybody logical, just like, it's good. It's a fine show. Like, nobody in my feed is saying how horrible it is. And then if they do, I throw up the He-Man Woman Haters Club and say, grow the fuck up.
Yeah, well, I mean, one of my closest friends, Mike, he hates, just absolutely hated it. And I was like, all right, well, I mean, I'm gonna watch it because I'm very interested in it. So I watched the first episode, and I was like, dude, I don't get it. It seemed pretty He-Man centric to me, but then he died, and so did Skeletor. But
Mike,
I
are you
mean,
listening? You
TV
fucking
before.
suck. Sorry, go ahead.
I've seen TV before. I didn't see a body. Pretty sure they're going to come back. Pretty sure they didn't get Mark Hamill to do Skeletor for an episode.
Yeah.
So, I don't see what the problem is. But all right, I'll keep watching. He's like, no, it's like it was billed as a TV show about He-Man, and it's not about He-Man. It's about Teela. And I'm like, all right. When was it billed as a TV show about He-Man? Like, I haven't been following the coverage.
So,
I don't remember it being promoted as specifically, this is a show about He-Man.
What it was
I do know that
promoted
it was
as.
he was prominent in the marketing and stuff, with the trailers and whatnot. They used a lot of footage from the first episode, like it was going to be a He-Man show. So I can understand being slightly upset at the whole bait and switch thing. Like, yeah, he's not. Now, granted, I'm only 2 episodes in, but even after he's dead, the show's still about him.
Yes,
like,
very much so.
It seems to be being told with, like, Teela is kind of like the character that we're seeing the show through, but it's about He-Man. It's about what happens to the world after He-Man's gone. Like, he's still the focal point of the story. Everyone's trying to get over the loss of He-Man and Skeletor.
Yes.
I mean, I dug the second episode too. Them, you know.
So there's a very.
I can't not hear Sarah Michelle Gellar. Like she's
her
not.
and
I don't
what's
care
her name from
what
Game of
she's
Thrones?
doing. I recognize her voice as her voice so solidly. So it's really weirding me out. But
Yes.
So here's all right. It was billed as a continuation of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Kevin Smith went and said that repeatedly because it is. Now the show
it is, yeah.
This show is called Masters of the Universe, not He-Man. He-Man is not in the title anywhere. Okay, so it's Masters of the Universe. And Masters of the Universe, through the lores, multiple different characters from the past, and He-Man was a Master of the Universe. Okay, now the other characters are living in a world without magic now, and that's what that's what they're dealing with. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not the Tila show. It's a show that Tila's in, and every episode is concentrating primarily on one character storyline per episode. So it's, you know, you get an Orko episode or such. You know, you get backstory about Evil Lyn and Men at Arms, and like everybody.
It's
gets
almost
the
like
shine.
they're tackling an entire universe of characters.
And
Oh
then
my
halfway
god.
through it, He-Man and Skeletor are going to come back, and then we're going to have to deal with what it's like when they've been gone for a while, and now we have He-Man and Skeletor back. That's my guess. I don't imagine he's going to be gone for the entire back half of the season. I don't want to minimize the, like, obviously, like, they made Tila an angry, somewhat butch lesbian, and I understand that there are people out there who would take great offense to that. I thought it was fine. I have no problem with it. Who's to say that she wasn't an angry lesbian the entire time? But that is a very easy thing to point out and say, like, okay, I understand. You wanted your big beefy burly guy, and you got a really cool gay woman out of the deal. And I understand that's really got to ruffle your feathers. And I'm sorry to hear that, but that's easy for me to dismiss. Mike's one of my closest friends, and I
What
respect
did he
his
not
opinion.
like about it?
What's that?
What specifically about the show made it bad? The fact that He-Man wasn't front and center, and that's it?
That's what he said. He said, I was promised a He-Man show, and I got the Tila show.
Okay. So he did not watch the whole season?
He did.
Okay.
I don't know,
So you
man.
only
I haven't
watched the
watched
first
the rest
half
of it,
of the
so I
season,
can't
so.
comment on the rest of it. I have seen a lot of angry people out there just absolutely ripping this show to shreds, and I don't... It's reminding me ever so slightly of the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull problem that was out there. Like, have you not seen Indiana Jones movies before? Like, granted, this was not the best it wasn't the best Indiana Jones movie ever made, but it was still an Indiana Jones movie. Like, all this stuff you're complaining about was not that much more over the top than things we've seen in other movies. And this show is very Masters of the Universe. Like, yeah, the overall quality is definitely significantly improved over the original, but it's still kind of written with that
Campiness.
sensibility in mind. Like, there's a lot of the dialogue is it is definitely made to be a modern, palatable continuation of the original show, which is to say, I don't remember the original show all that much. I remember the toys. Like, I loved the toys, and I definitely watched the heck out of that cartoon, but I couldn't tell you a single plot point from that cartoon because I've never even attempted to watch it as an adult. I made that mistake with Voltron and Thundercats. I'm never going to do that again.
And
I can't imagine the show holds up extraordinarily well, but
it doesn't because of the archetypes that are there, like the way things look in that universe. It's so cartoony and so toy based that it just doesn't hold up now. And what they're doing with the art style is they're modernizing the art style. Still, He-Man still looks like He-Man, but when he's like Adam, he looks more like a regular human being, not like a cartoon human being. And all the other characters look great. I mean, Man at Arms is still that squat and built like a brick shithouse, but like that's Masters of the Universe. That's the way they are. And I'm telling you, every character shows up. Every one of them. Like the robot. Like in the first episode, Fakor Fakor. I think that was the name. The guy, the metal He-Man. Like they squeezed that in the first episode, and I'm like, that is someone doing something that cares about the show. Not that they're not, waking it up as everybody is saying. They're just continuing a storyline that, you can only recycle so many He-Man stories. Like it's very good. It's a good, well-written show. And I'm really upset with
I'm enjoying
humanity.
It. I'm enjoying it, and I'm into it. Well, I'm gonna keep watching it. It's when I get the chance, fitting it into my other busy schedule.
Yeah, it's worth it. Like if you're liking and that was the thing in the first episode, something happens. Okay, if you can get past that point, the rest of the show makes sense. It's an epic. Like they're going through something to get to the midpoint of this story arc, and
yeah, I have every confidence that Kevin Smith's going to pull this off. Kevin and like all of the other people.
He did. He just he did the first episode. I think he wrote the first episode and then is producing and overseeing the rest of it. But
I think you guys are way too logical. Clearly, you're not hateful and angry enough.
Well, I mean, look, the main character's a lesbian. That's a major problem because it's instead of being a giant beefy white dude with, a bowl cut, she's a lesbian. She has a girlfriend and a black one at that.
Well, I have a question.
The SJWs, man, they just smeared it all over this one, and they ruined my childhood and yours too. You didn't even know it.
Well, how prevalent was this character in the original though? Because one of the things that we've talked about on the show before is when they take a character that you have an expectation of them being a certain way, and then they change that character on you. Nobody in this podcast has ever really liked that. So is this? I haven't watched the show. Could this be a case of that?
Teela in the original show was third in command. Okay, it was He-Man, Man-at-Arms, Teela. Those are the three. They were always those three in every episode doing something. In this show, it's fast-forwarded many, many years, and Man-at-Arms is retiring, and Teela is taking over the Man-at-Arms position, which logically makes sense because that was her gig back in the day.
Right.
Okay? Mm-hmm. So it all checks out. It makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense. And then she didn't know that Adam, I mean, spoiler alert for freaking He-Man, but she didn't know that Adam was He-Man, which everybody else did.
Sort of.
And then when he, sort of.
Dad didn't know.
Then he and Skeletor bite it, and she finds out that it was Adam the whole time, and that everyone's been effectively lying to her, and she's just freaking done with all this magic and stuff, which is a super cool take on this show. Like, man, in the second episode when what was it, Triclops, or what the heck was Henry Rollins' character? I can't remember his name.
There's the side. Yeah, I think it's Triclops.
Yeah,
because he has 3 eyes, but they're single.
Yeah, the guy with the little spinny thing on his head with the different eyes on it. I love that character. I couldn't remember his name for the life of me. He was voiced by Henry Rollins, which is great. And he started a technology cult. Yep. This was amazing. It's like everyone's all like, "Nah, Skeletor was an idiot, and he was holding us all back with his stupid plans. Technology's the wave of the future. Join our technology cult, and we'll turn you into technology monsters."
Yeah,
and then Teela's just like, "Wow, you're just as stupid as you ever were." And then she kicks the crap at everybody. It was great. Also, I did not realize that Henry Rollins, I'm watching the episode, and he's talking the whole time like, I can picture that voice being way more calm and smart, and I can't remember where I'm pulling it from. And then I looked it up, and it's like, oh, it's Henry Rollins. He was Zahir on Legend of Korra. I never pieced that together.
Oh,
and I'm kind of angry at myself.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, Henry freaking Rollins was Zahir, and it was awesome. No, man, I'm loving it so far. I think it's great. And like the whole time I'm watching it, I'm thinking like, I don't know how you could possibly do it, but it would be really wacky and cool if they could somehow do a crossover with that recent She-Ra cartoon, because they are so stylistically different.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, could not be more different unless one was live action.
I mean,
but still,
we did get a Supernatural Scooby-Doo crossover, so anything is
Right.
fucking possible.
They did Turtles Forever, right? The 80s Turtles met like the modern CG Turtles. Come on, we can do this. I want to see that happen. I really want to see those worlds collide. That would be so cool.
What was funny, I actually made comment about this like the third or fourth episode. I'm like, they have literally introduced every character to make a toy out of, and I don't feel like they're forcing that down my throat. Like, I know there was no reason for Skunkor or Stinkor. There was absolutely no reason to shoehorn him into episode 2.
Oh, yes, there was, because he was voiced by Jay Muse.
Which is fine.
Awesome.
That's why you do that. You say, all right, we got Jay Muse and a character named Stinkor. Well, how do we make this happen?
I mean, it was great. It's just seeing all of the, and it didn't feel forced, but every episode introduced like 3 new toys. It was so awesome. There was the robot. He shows up later, but I think it's not, but it should have been voiced by Wash. Like it's
Alan Tudyk?
Yeah, it should have been voiced by Alan Tudyk, because the guy that they got to voice it is pretty much doing an impersonation of Alan Tudyk.
Maybe he was busy. Disney's got that dude busy, man.
It's true.
He's got a lot to do.
But I just wanted to make sure like you enjoyed it, because like watching like the internets go crazy like that just
It was a
wobbles
huge
my-
bummer, man, and like I would have hoped at some point that, I don't know, one of the most homoerotic cartoons of our youth, that, you know, there being a gay character wouldn't really be so much of a problem. But I mean,
Again, I'm going to restate this question. Is it possible that it's not about it being a gay character so much as it was a male character that was now made female, changing the
it's-
nature of what we expected of that character?
She is not. No, Tila was always Tila. Tila was a strong,
yeah, she was always a
barbarian-esque
woman. She was just
female.
never the main character. She was like one of the main characters. So like,
So we're just getting
she's-
more character development and depth of the universe.
But it's just a
Again,
girl, and we
because
don't
He
like
He-Man's
that.
the masters of this universe.
The main focal point of the storytelling wound up focusing on Tila and not He-Man. He-Man's not that and he's not the He-Man in the center of it all. And I guess that's problematic, which, I mean, I am certain 99% of it is that the show is centering around Tila because she's a woman, and then a giant chunk of that is because she's a gay woman, and that's a problem. And then I'm sure there's plenty of people pissed off that her girlfriend on the show is a black woman. So, I mean, it's really striking all the right chords for the idiot demographic, but
So, and here, hon, you know how I feel about box checking.
Yes, that's
This
I was
show
waiting
is,
for this.
I don't feel like they're doing that.
What?
I don't
Oh.
feel like they're checking the box. Yeah, you keep saying that she is a lesbian. Great. I didn't pick up as that being a huge part of the story. Like, yes, technically speaking, I think they are in a relationship, but I'm not really sure. But it's
oh
not.
no, at the end of episode 2, they put that shit front and center, and that was that one rubbed me a little weird, because it was just like, okay, sweetie, and they go in for a kiss and hold hands and stuff. It was like, okay, I mean, all right. It felt weirdly forced. It was a weird moment, and like, it just didn't feel natural. And I was just kind of I was a little upset by that, because I totally buy them as a couple, but there was something really weird about that moment where they were just like, they really just hit that hammer, just smacked you across the face with like, no, we're not beating around the bush. These two are a couple, and you
Didn't
need to
pick
know
up on
that
that
right
at all.
now.
Couple stuff in your face.
The whole
Yeah, it was a weird moment.
father-daughter shit between her and Men, like that was more prevalent, and it becomes more prevalent in later episodes. But I feel like it's a solid continuation of the story. Like, I didn't want more He-Man stories, because it's the same thing. He-Man, he is Adam. There's a problem. He turns big and bulky. He beats the problem. Episode over. I didn't want that, because that's the way every goddamn episode of He-Man and the Masters of the Universe was. that and the cat turned into a tiger. Like, this is a story-driven show now, which it wasn't before. It was a toy-driven show before, and this is not what that is. So,
Yeah, no, I like it, and I totally respect Mike and where he's coming from. It's the people that are coming from the other angles that I do not respect. I mean, don't like the show all you want. That's fine, but jumping out there and calling it trash, because he was like, "You're probably going to enjoy it." He told me I was going to like it, which means to me that I'm pretty sure he recognizes that the show was well done, but it's not what he was looking for. So he was unhappy with it, and I get that. And that's the way you do stuff like that, right? You look at it and say, well, this isn't for me, and then you move on with your life.
Yep.
But, boy, that ain't how the internet works.
nope.
This isn't
Are you
for
just
me.
figuring
And it's
that
not for
out?
you either. And if you like it, you're an idiot.
You suck.
You
Jeez,
jackass.
I never imagined there could be this much to say about a He-Man cartoon, really.
Right? Like, that's why I was
Bananas.
trying to breeze through my other stuff, but yeah. Karen, what did you watch?
Well, Chris and I watched some stuff together that was not
He-Man?
He-Man, because I have no fucks to give for He-Man. Sorry, He-Man. We watched some Olympics, and then I lost my script. We watched about 6 episodes of Kevin Can F himself.
Okay, please tell me everything, or just maybe don't take it to He-Man levels.
Were you watching it, the 6 episodes, because you were enjoying it, or you were waiting for something?
It was kind of a mixed reaction.
Okay.
We were liking it, and then it was like kind of turning us off some, and then like we were like about on the point of being ready to give up on it, and then something intriguing would happen right at the end of an episode, and we'd be like, son of a bitch, now I want to know what happens next.
Okay. All right.
So it wasn't like, yeah, no, I need to know. It's just like, all right, you've piqued just enough interest for me to keep going, but you're on thin ice, show.
You're treading on thin ice there, show.
And then you stopped putting new episodes on there, and I can't say I've missed it, but
Shit. Sorry.
that's okay.
The premise is like really interesting that drew us in, but once you get past that, it's your basic kind of dark, gritty crime / anti-hero show that AMC does a lot of, which is fine. That's your brand. That's what you do. That's not what I'm here for.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I mean, like,
it's not bad.
No,
it's
it's
just
definitely not bad. It's well done. It's well acted. It's
I just don't think that's what I was looking for in that show either. And I guess that's a whole thing about expectations is like, we're just not the target audience, I guess.
Yeah. I memean, it got very interesting around the point of like the first couple of episodes was just kind of like easing you into the concept of the show and the characters and everything, and then it hit a turning point when Allison and Patty started to like not necessarily become friends, because I don't think that they're sort of there now, but they just started to interact more with each other outside of the realm of the men, more in her like washed out real world
Gotcha.
life. She was interacting more with Patty, and like it was interesting. And then it was like, oh, okay, she's a drug dealer, and now Allison's gonna get wrapped up in the drug world in order to commit a murder and then adultery. And I was like, okay,
Wow,
all
that
right,
snowballed.
I'm back off the train.
Damn.
That
it
went downhill
basically
much
turned
faster.
into Good Girls, and I fell off of that show for kind of the same reason. Like, it kind of got to the point where who exactly am I rooting for here? Who's the likable person?
Gotcha.
And she, the main character, is pretty. She's likable to an extent because she's treated so poorly by this absolute awful human being, but at the same time, she's out there like she's making a lot of really bad decisions, and she seems to be getting off on making those bad decisions. So, like, I'm not enjoying watching her, but there's things happening in the plot that it's like, all right, I'm okay. I'm interested enough, but not interested enough.
Okay.
Yeah, that's like, I don't know. I think I got enough of that downward spiral watching Breaking Bad. That show used to stress me out so much.
Yeah, that's sort of the same flavor that I got off of it between that and like Ozark, which I know people love Ozark and are keep trying to get me to watch Ozark, and I'm like, I'm sure it's wonderful. I just can't do the dark, gritty, anti-hero crime drama thing anymore.
Yeah, I don't want to be that stressed out by my TV show.
I need happiness. I need positivity. I need light. I need Ted Lasso.
I forgot. Shit, honey, I watched all of Ted Lasso in a day.
Holy fuck. I didn't even know it happened. Was I at work?
Yes, you were.
Wow. God. Unemployment looks good on you.
It started on, it was just while I was on the computer, it was on in the background, and then I just got engrossed and I watched the whole thing. And God damn it, Kara, that show's amazing.
It's so good.
Wonderful. So yeah, season 2's back. First episode was, it was kind of a little bit of a departure, kind of just setting up the world of what happened after season 1 ended. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the second episode was much more true to form and just very funny, and I just love the show so freaking much.
What was the second episode? Maybe I haven't watched it yet. I think I haven't watched the second episode. I've only watched the first one. Yeah.
Yeah, watch the second one. It's great.
I will.
It's great.
Angela and I are
Also,
probably
the second one has a lot more Roy Kent. He wasn't very much in the first one.
So Roy Kent is the older soccer player. Right? So
I love him, and I love Keeley, and they're like the best couple on TV.
So the interaction with the owner and him and Keeley on the double date, and he's like, "You're fucking amazing. Don't you settle for?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, don't you settle for anything less than that?" You should watch it. You'll enjoy it, honey. Sorry.
Yeah, it's phenomenal, top to bottom.
Yes,
love
it is
that show.
It's like some kind of like delicious ice cream that you just can't get enough of. Except if you eat enough ice cream, you feel sick, but you don't. You could just watch this show all day.
And I'm not gonna lie, it takes a minute for the character of Ted Lasso to want to be a part of his world, because he's so different. Like, he's so upbeat, and it's like you want to just poke him in the eye for the first 2 episodes, because it's what's that show? Not Bad News Bears. What was that show with the Major League? Like, that's how they're making you believe that this show is, that it's a television version of Major League, the baseball show, where the owner is trying to undermine the team, and it turns into something different. But then it goes back to that, and then it goes back to it. I was like, this is a roller coaster that I don't want to be on. But he is so goddamn adorable.
It's infuriatingly adorable.
The biscuit bit, I thought that would go away quickly, but it didn't. The entirety of season 1. Every time.
The only problem that I have with the show is that it's dropping week to week. I want it all now. This is not, we've talked about
you got
this.
angry
Whether
with me.
the better. I was getting angry with you. I was just getting angry. We've talked about whether it's better to like drop the whole season at once, or stretch it out week to week, and how like some big event shows like Mandalorian and whatnot, it makes sense to drop them week to week, because like it keeps the conversation going. This is not one of those shows. This is just give it to me right now, Apple TV. Come on.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You're killing me.
I don't
just to
remember the
follow
premise of. I don't remember the premise of this show.
The premise is
Don't spoil it. Go in blind.
The
Go
premise
nuts.
is great.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. The premise is great, and just watch it.
Yeah.
Where is Ted, like that actor? Where do I know him from?
Jason Sudeikis?
Yeah, like what, like.
I mean, He was on SNL, but that's probably
It's
not where you know him
It's
from.
not where I know him from. And that's the problem. Like, I know he was on SNL, but I'm just like, Meet the Millers? Is that it? I don't know. It was weird because
Jason Sudeikis.
when I wasn't a fan of his, just like I wasn't a fan of Andy Samberg. Like, I was just saying, no, not my cup of tea, because it was not my Saturday Night Live troupe. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I gave this one a shot. And I was like, I feel like I was missing out. I'm glad I actually. It's that mustache. Damn it, that mustache.
He was one of the Bike Scout troopers on that episode of Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Oh, he was on Last Man on Earth. Boy, that show was... I rather enjoyed that show for a little bit. What else was he on?
I don't know if you can hear this right now, but the rain is so loud outside of the window in our office
that what it
it's
is?
picking up on my microphone
Wow.
when I'm not talking.
Yes, sorry about
Yikes.
that. I was like, what? Is there water running somewhere?
Yeah, that was insane.
Wow, I can hear that.
Yeah, it just started coming down. Hold on, I'm going to put my mic. I'm like facing the window now. Yeah, you hear that? This is why I get stressed during rainstorms, everybody.
Flash flood warnings for like 12 hours here.
Yeah, you fucking think? Jesus.
So.
Sounds like
He was on
Noah's
a
Ark
bunch
should
of
be
episodes
coming.
of 30 Rock. There was a character named Floyd.
Yes.
I feel like there
Yes.
should be more, but I don't know. It's all right. It'll just
He's one of those. Hey, it's that guy. Yeah, so just to follow up on other things I have mentioned, I did finish Discovery of Witches, Angie.
And?
I feel you on the kind of being a little bit over it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm glad they're gonna go back to the present. At least I assume that's what they're gonna do.
Fucking hope so.
All the thing in the past, I kind of felt, I don't know, disconnected or like just too much going on because they were like doing things in the present and in the past. I did enjoy a lot of the being in the Elizabethan times. I'll give
Yes.
it that. Like, all of that stuff was real fun to watch, but it did make it hard to like keep up with like, okay, Marcus and then Domenico and like what the hell's going on, and then like the girl was pregnant and had the witch baby. Like, it was a lot.
Yeah, it was spread out in a way that I also, like, it was, part of it was just disjointed. Like, I couldn't remember characters' names after a point, and I was like, wait, who's that again? Like, it just, yeah, it wasn't holding together the way that I would have hoped for them to go on such a deep dive into the past. So, I
kind of like the premise of them, like, kind of setting up the two sides of the war, for lack of a better term, of like the older people wanting to like keep all the species separate, and then the younger people who want to just like make it a big love fest.
yeah, basically.
I like that premise a lot. And I know people like these books. A friend of mine is, I mentioned I was watching the show, and she was like, "Oh, the books are so much better," which I'm sure they are. But it feels like maybe that this is a problem of adaptation, then, of like doing this whole story arc in the past, where like maybe, I don't know, maybe it worked better in the book somehow.
Yeah, there's just some part of it that, like you said, it just doesn't feel connected. There's this just disjointedness, and I at first I thought it was like an intentional part of the storytelling, and then I was like, nah, y'all are not bringing it back. This is not working.
Yeah, but at least there were Elizabethan costumes to look at.
Oh man,
that were
yeah,
very
they were
nice.
cool. How much did you like looking at the Queen too? She was like kind of gnarly.
She was pretty cool. I like my favorite part of it was when she was learning the magic, like the thread weaving magic. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. There were other things too. Like his behavior at times, how it was like conflicting with who he was in the present versus the past self. Like the completely displaced past version of him that everyone's like, oh yeah, you're not the same at all. This will be real fine when you leave and he comes back. Like that still just felt like a very weirdly left loose end.
Yeah, it was a very strange, like, way to handle time travel.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Like I said, I have a friend that's, like, really into it, and she liked it so much that I was like, okay, I will try to do this again when the next season comes out, but, like, if it hasn't fixed some of these problems, I'm not going to be able to stay on board.
I would like to see more magic in a show
Yeah.
about witches.
Yeah.
There's not
Crazy
there's
talk.
not been enough magic, and I don't know what they're doing with Alex Kingston. They're wasting the crap out of her.
Yeah. Yeah.
She's just like running around worrying about everybody and telling everybody to be safe and not take risks, and I don't think this is safe, and I don't like what you're doing. And I'm like, you're Alex fucking Kingston.
Well,
You should be out there kicking ass.
you're caught up though, right?
Yeah.
So you know what happened.
Yeah, I certainly hope that turns her into that, like, badass witch.
Yes. Wait, I thought she was the one who died.
No.
Oh, it was the other one.
It was the other one.
That's right, because I kept looking at her being like, do something useful. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep,
So
yep, yep.
maybe now she will, because that would make me happy.
Yeah, that'd make me happy too, because I agree. I was like, you are a waste, and I like when you're on screen usually. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, I thought she was better off dead. I'd like switched it in my mind.
Yikes.
Yeah, they just weren't utilizing her as an actress for this character, and I feel like she doesn't do timid well. Like
No.
it doesn't work for like her fucking being, like her essence.
Yes. She as a person is stronger than the character she's playing.
Yes.
And it's like incongruous. It's very bad. I don't like.
Yeah. So.
So I finished that, and I like you. I will, I'll see what happens in season 3 and make my decision then. Mm-hmm. And then I picked up the first couple of episodes of season 2 of Never Have I Ever, which I got into last season. There's a really cute Netflix like teen show about this Indian girl who's just, she's a good girl, and then like her dad dies when she was in high school, and she starts going through like all of the typical high school experiences at once, and
Yeah.
it's just a really well done show. It's really cute. And her inner voice is narrated by John McEnroe. Chris sat down and watched a few minutes of it with me the other night, and he was like, "What the hell is going on here? Why? Who is that? And why is that?" But he was laughing. He thought it was funny too.
Yeah, I got a good chuckle out of it because it's like, I don't know, this, it was just, it was striking me as this, like, not bad by any means, just like relatively straightforward romance kind of thing, but it's also being like narrated by what sounded just like a sports announcer. Like, what is happening right now? It's just really freaking weird. And then she explained it to me. I was like, that's genius. I like it. Thumbs up. Good show.
Yeah, they went last season. They diverted from the form for one episode where they followed a different character, and they had his like inner voice was narrated by one of the geeks from Freaks and Geeks. Sandberg is his name. And then this season they had the hot jock. They had his inner monologue for the third episode, and his inner monologue was Gigi Hadid, who's like a supermodel. So she's like, he and I both know what it's like to like have people only appreciate us for our looks. And I'm like, all right, okay, show, I can see that. So very clever show. It's just as good as it was in season 1, so I'm looking forward to finishing that up, and I highly recommend to anybody if you haven't seen it already. So
I actually had seen something, I don't know, I think it was like a news article or something that had mentioned the show, and I was considering picking it up. So it's kind of cool that you're actually watching it, because I'm curious, and now I'm more curious, which is fun.
it's very cute, and like one of the things that I like about it is how like the show is very like the cast is very diverse, but they don't make a big deal out of it. It's just like here's like a school full of kids that are all different races and genders and orientations, and nobody's like the token anything. It's just like this girl has an extremely Indian name and nobody has a problem pronouncing it. Mm-hmm. Like, it's
That's not real.
makes my heart happy.
Yeah, that's
So
actually
I
awesome.
recommend that. I think you should. I think you would enjoy it. All right, well, that's a lot of talking about TV. So let's take a break, and then we can talk some more about TV. Sound good?
Sounds like a plan
Sounds
to me.
great.
All
Oh wait,
right.
I didn't tell you about.
Oh, no.
I've been watching. I'm caught up on the Bad Batch. It's still fine.
Okay.
Still a solid.
I love it.
Excellent. Okay, and with that, we'll be back.
And now, here's a quick look at some of the other original content available now from our partners and Geekade.com. First up, hey, guess what? I'm doing a commercial on here because I didn't write a script again, so I'm going to ad-lib commercials, and I'm going to talk about Donkey Kong. I'm 40 years old, my partner on Waveback is 40 years old, and Donkey Kong is 40 years old, so we listened to a whole mess of Donkey Kong music, and it was flippin' awesome. I had so much fun trolloping through the history of the Donkey Kong franchise. I discovered new Donkey Kong music that I didn't know existed from the weird Game Boy Advance port of Donkey Kong Country 3 that they had David Wise re-record an entire soundtrack on. For some reason, they threw a bunch of Cobra Triangle levels at the end. It was freaking weird. I had a blast on this one, and if you want to listen to me be this excited and probably even more nerdy about Donkey Kong music for an entire podcast, check out Waveback episode, I don't freaking know, 40th anniversary of Donkey Kong, available on Geekade.com and on our YouTube channel, because we put podcasts on YouTube now. Catch it.
Catch it. Shit, I should have gone first, because now I gotta follow that.
Yeah, well, do what you do, babe. You got this. Go.
Okay, so now it's my turn, and I don't have a script either. I'm not creative like Chris, and I'm definitely not funny, but I do like to draw pirates sometimes, so I made a comic book with a lot of other people who don't draw pirates, but I do. So, here's the deal. You can check out my Etsy shop, where you can purchase Tales of Cape Fear Volumes 1 and 2, a Wilmington anthology comic book series developed by, I guess, me, kinda. Wow, that was weird to say. I did that. That's a thing I did.
Feel uncomfortable, did it?
Yeah. Oh, God. I'm cringing. But the thing is, it's cool. It's a comic book. Lots of people worked on it. There's a lot of different art styles, and you should just buy it because I fucking said so.
Yeah, Tales of Cape Fear, catch it.
Yeah. My birthday. Catch it. Pirates.
Karen, do you want to go? Do you have something to catch?
Hey, I will yell about whatever you want. You want to skip your turn? You want me to go again?
No, I want to say more about pirates,
Where's
Chris.
Karen?
Do you want to know what I have to say about this? It's like a 50-plus page book, and it's only $5. That's right, only $5.
$5. You can catch it for $5.
Catch it! Catch them, pirates.
Are there Pokemon pirates? 'Cause, like,
There will be now.
I
Okay.
don't know what's going on.
I'm painting Blackbeard right now, and when I'm done, you know what he's going to have on the little, I don't know what this thing is, the part of his jacket that's near his neck? The collar. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were going to say he was going to have those little dangly beard beads and they were going to look like Pokeballs.
No, he has dangly beard beads, and now they will look like Pokeballs, but there's also going to be a Pikachu on his collar, his coat collar. That's right. That's happening. Pika Pika, bitches.
Oh, heavens. This has gone off the rails.
Yeah, it
So, Chris has many podcasts. One of them is about movies. This most recent episode of A Theater Near You, he and Sean and Paul discussed the Jason Statham epic, Crank, which I watched
Operative
with
word
him.
here being disgust. I used that joke with Dan last night and I had to use it again.
It didn't land
The
that time
disgust.
either.
Pika Pika.
Yes. It was a bad movie. It was not what we expected at all. It could have been great, and it wasn't. But it was a movie, and they talked about it. So you should listen to that. Catch it.
Damn right. Theater
that?
near you,
Theater near
episode
you.
5. Crank. Catch it.
Just like the Pokemon, you got to catch them all.
That's right. Evan, we usually do 3 commercials, but you're going to do 4. Bring the pain, Evan. What do you got for us?
I do the editing, and I don't want to put Dean's commercial in again. So I am going to talk about E-Wing gaming chairs. That's right, folks. We here at Geekade got a discount code to work with E-Win on their gaming chairs, and they look like they lovingly caress your body as you sit there and do nothing in front of your television or your computer. You can get up to 20% off. All you have to do is use the code Geekade at the checkout. Check that out.
Catch it.
You
For all
have
this
to
great
say it,
stuff
Evan.
and more, check out Geekade.
No, I'm not moving on until you say catch it.
Catch it.
There it is. For all this great content and more from us and our partners, be sure to keep your eyes on geekade.com.
I'm not moving.
And we're back. Today we are discussing the first episode of We Are Lady Parts called Play Something. This originally aired as a pilot on British TV's Channel 4 in 2018, and then it was commissioned for a 6-episode season, which premiered in May, May of this year in the UK, and in June on Peacock in the US. The entire series is written and directed by Nita Manzoor, who, if the name sounds familiar, it's probably because she wrote a couple episodes of season 12 of Doctor Who, Fugitive of the Jadoon, and Nikola Tesla's Night of Terror. The show tells the story of the Women of Lady Parts, a Muslim punk band who are trying to make it in London. When the show begins, Saira, Bisma, and Aisha and their manager Mumtaz are trying to recruit a reluctant but talented Amina, who is a PhD student, and she really just wants to find a good traditional Muslim husband. But they discover that she's also a very talented guitar player, and they really want to fill out their sound so they can become, they can become rock stars. So, before we start talking about this, did you guys just watch the first one, or did you watch any more than that?
Just the first one.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
We watched the whole series, but we will try to keep it
You
to
could
just...
Hun, do you have a problem with them discussing?
No, I actually like when sometimes like this happens, because this is an instance where I feel like you guys will have insight to future stuff in the series that, like, if we had anything we didn't like in episode 1, maybe that gets clarified or rectified, or whatever. Like, there may be a reason why something is the way it is, or I don't know, there may be context given. So I'm cool with you guys sharing, surprise, we have spoilers on this podcast.
All right, cool then. So I'm getting the impression that maybe you guys didn't like this as much as we did.
I would say, I know Evan said that he was going to remain quiet for part of this, so I'll start.
I mean, I'm going to voice my opinion, but let me get my point out. This was not for me. Okay? It's not that it was bad. It's just that there was nothing for me to grab onto and identify with. And I came up with this realization that if it's not a fantasy or not in this world, and there's literally nothing in the show for me to identify with, I'm not interested in it. It doesn't grab me. I know I've read Chris's tweet earlier this week that you guys really enjoyed it, and that's great. It's just it was that awkward comedy where you feel uncomfortable for people, and that doesn't do it for me. And there was literally not a single character in this show that I identified with, so it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Okie dokie, fair enough. Angie?
So I mean, I could respect the viewpoint of like not having something to really connect to or identify with, but I think like I'm more okay with that awkward humor because I often feel like I am that awkward. So I tend to do better with shows that have that kind of humor. So as we were watching, I found myself like laughing out loud at a lot of scenes. And I think this will end up being something that I would watch more of, but I will end up doing it solo. And we all know my track record for actually getting to watch things. So yeah, I was enjoying it. I just it was the first episode. So now I need to see the rest of it and see where the story goes. I found some of the behaviors of the characters to be very amusing. Just when she's in the beginning of the episode and her parents just continuously embarrass her in front of this possible future husband who is clearly it's not gonna happen. It was just so perfect because it felt like the epitome of what people experience, but from the Muslim perspective. I was dying.
To Evan's point, and I'm not trying to argue your point. I came at it from a pretty similar angle. I don't have any understanding of Muslim culture. It's completely foreign to me. But I related so much to. I don't know if related is the right word. I definitely eventually related because it was the show turned out to be very much about being in a band, and I relate to that very much, and that dynamic, specifically of being the nerdiest person in a group of cool musicians. That I definitely identified with pretty well, but I was so taken aback by just the way everything was presented, and I don't, like I said, I have no frame of reference at all for Muslim culture, and it didn't matter to me. I found myself just like you, Angie. I was laughing out loud at a lot of stuff in this show, and God, her parents are fantastic. And even more so in future episodes. I'm having a hard time even wrapping my head around where to begin on how impressed I was with this show, but they made these characters so I felt personally, I just felt that they made those characters so relatable, even to some random white dude from New Jersey, a show about a bunch of Muslim women trying to form a punk band, and I was so invested in all of them. It does take some cool dramatic turns throughout the course of the series, and it sets itself up really well to do that. Because of all the comedy in the beginning. And man, I laughed at so many of the jokes in this show, and I thought it was so well acted. The comedic timing was excellently done. But yeah, I was surprised how much I liked it because, like I said, I have absolutely no connection to Muslim culture at all. It's so foreign to me that I kind of felt like this show's definitely not going to be for me. And that turned out to not be the case, and I could not have possibly been more pleasantly surprised by it. And I don't know, it gave me. I'm having a real hard time articulating it. I was completely floored by the show by the time it was done.
Well, I would say that, and Evan, tell me if this is a correct assumption. The thing that made it hard for him to relate was not necessarily the fact that it was coming from a Muslim perspective, because I agree, nobody in this group particularly has a lot of information or education on Muslim culture, but it was just Evan doesn't do well with the awkward sense of humor stuff. There's certain types of humor that just don't hit people the right way, and Evan really struggles with that.
I have this weird thing where I start feeling for the people on screen, and it shows up every episode of the British Bake Off. Every one.
Oh, God.
At the very end where there's something precariously perched and they have to pick it up and they move it, and I start feeling uncomfortable for them. I literally have to turn and look away. That's
not an exaggeration. I usually skip the 30 to 60 seconds of the show every time he's with me watching it. He cannot handle it.
So this show, it wasn't necessarily about the Muslim culture of it. It was it was that. It was the band aspect of it. It was the female aspect of it. Like, none of that was wrong. It's just not my wheelhouse. Like, I can't, like, I've never tried to be part of a band. Like, it's not, so it was just not for me. That's it. I mean, they all seem to act very well.
Yeah, I don't think you need to. I don't think you need to defend that. That makes total sense to me. I was just commenting that, I mean, the band thing is one different point where we come from, but it was it's interesting that we had such different reactions to it, considering that we are who we are.
Well, I mean, it was one of those things, like, because Evan is the kind of guy, like, he loves Orphan Black, like, he has no problem with a female-led cast. I think that it really, like, it was the stuff that I would find myself laughing at is probably the same stuff you were laughing at, Kris, and it's the kind of stuff that Evan's like, I'm uncomfortable. I hope this person will, like, he just can't, he cannot deal.
That poor girl
with the awkward.
Vomited every time she played the guitar.
See,
that's not cool.
And then they worked on overcoming it, and that was really cool.
But that's, like, because we only have the first episode for context, like, we're just taking it from that context, and that's why I said I think that you guys, like, what you've taken from the show will be different from what we've taken from it, because we only have that one episode that we're going off of. But, like, that is that part made it a tough sell, not gonna lie.
I don't know, maybe
and the band thing, I'll be honest, I'm not oh, Kris, please know that I do love you, but I don't typically like anything to do with people in bands. I dated a musician, and he kind of ruined a lot of that for me. Oh yeah, it was that part that's a little, so that was one of the main components not compelling me to move forward immediately with the show. But like I said, I am more than willing to continue it in the future. I just have to catch up on some other stuff.
That poor girl was so awkward.
Yes, and I was a little skeptical in the beginning of, like, okay, well, she has such severe performance anxiety. How are they going to make this work?
Yeah.
If the show was about her being in the band, like, you can't be in a band and not perform.
Right.
But like Kris said,
it wasn't just performance anxiety. She was socially awkward. Like, sitting on the couch talking to the prospective husband with her family, like, that was viscerally uncomfortable for me.
And it's as the show goes on, that's a big part of it, is kind of why was that so socially awkward to her? Why? I'm having a hard time articulating it, but that's all very intentional and not in the, like, the Curb Your Enthusiasm sort of way, where it's just like, no, that's the joke, it's funny. Like, no, it goes through as in, what's the reason for this? Why are these people the way that they are? And again, the parents in particular were such a huge sticking point. There's this one scene in a later episode where you learn more about one of the other characters' parents, and then that character gets to interact with her parents, who are great. And those couple of scenes really hammer home just the importance of supportive parents for creative people. Whereas if your parents are not supportive and you're an artist and they don't believe in you, they don't believe in your art, or they don't believe in you or anything like that, that it has such an effect on kids. Like, that has such an effect on a person's life.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
And then you see how much of a difference something like that can make on a person from even just experiencing one interaction with what it's like to have supportive parents. It was a lot of that kind of stuff was just so incredibly meaningful for me while watching this. And the ending is a little bit, puffy, happy Empire Records, which is fine, because it doesn't all have to be like grit. Obviously, things go bad at some point because it's a TV show. Otherwise, there would be nothing to it. But it handles all that stuff very well. And I just think that everything was delivered so extraordinarily well that to have the life experiences of these characters whose lives are so incredibly far removed from mine in so many ways, but still come off as so genuine and relatable to somebody who has no frame of reference for so much of what these people actually go through. I was so completely impressed by it. And yeah, I eventually saw that the night we finished it, I saw on Twitter, like, just randomly someone saying, you're liking something that somebody's doing, like, just send them a DM and say, I think you're fantastic in what you do. And I was like, I don't think that's for me. I think that might be crossing some lines to have some random white guy from New Jersey message some women on a TV show and be like, I think you're amazing and I love the work that you do in a private message. So I just kind of put out a general public message to anybody involved in this show to just know that you made a heck of an impact on me. I was so impressed by the show. It was wonderful.
Nice.
It's interesting to me. Like, I completely get not being comfortable with awkward humor, and sometimes I'm that way about certain things myself. In this case in particular, I feel like her, I mean, to a certain degree, her social awkwardness, but even to the degree of her performance anxiety and vomiting, it's so crucial to that character's development, because really part of what the show is about is her becoming like her true self. She sort of seems like, when you start out the show, she's coming from a place of, like, I guess society's expectations of who she is supposed to be, because she's this, like, she's really good in school, she's a geek, she's like a PhD student, she's trying to be very traditional about her, like, culture and their, you know, the way they handle marriage, even though it is a little confusing to me that, like, she doesn't seem to be forced into this by her parents.
Yeah.
It's more of like a social thing. Like, she's trying to keep up with her best friend who is going through the same marriage process, but has already found the guy. But like, she's trying to be very halal, which is my if I'm using that term incorrectly, I apologize. But it seems like she's trying to follow the right way of doing things for her culture, but she has this, you know, something inside of her that makes her want to play music and be part of this band and, like, do things that aren't accepted in her culture. And it's those two sides of her are at war through the show, and it, like, manifests itself in this awkwardness. Like, every time she's trying to be something that she isn't because she thinks that's what she's supposed to be, it's hard to watch. And it's, you know, it's hard to watch in a cringy comedy kind of way, but it's also kind of hard to watch on the level of anybody who's ever been in that kind of position where they're trying to be something that they aren't to make other people happy.
And you see that even in, like, there was the scene when her friend is there and she's like, yeah, with all this post, like, she opens the closet door and there's all the musicians posters and she's like, oh yeah, this white man on your wall. And she's like, he's not a white man, he's, I don't remember who it was, like
John McClane.
Yeah, John, there it is. You know, like, that was, I think, a really great way to represent what you're saying there, where she's trying to, like, bury this part of who she is.
But what was weird, nobody was, like, it was...
no one was making her.
Nobody was making her. She was doing it to herself. And out of everything that I had seen and having the reaction I did, her family, or her, I don't know, I'm not going to say family, her parents were fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, I get why you guys, like, liked their interaction. Like, there was one scene, I did laugh out loud at one scene when she is leaving the house and she said she was going to the store and she asked if they wanted anything and the father blurted out a Fanta. That was it. He just said a Fanta and that was it.
And the way the parents interact with one another is also really wholesome.
Like, they were adorable. It was just...
Well, the thing is that, or at least the way that I viewed it through the show, was that it was almost like, to a certain extent, a bit of rebellion. Like, there's a scene later in the series where she kind of has it out with her mom about the way that she lives her life, and that, you know, to a degree she doesn't necessarily approve of how, you know, enlightened she is or whatever. And I think it all comes from her friends and her wanting to fit in with her social group. So it's almost like this weird sort of like anti-rebellion thing going on, where like she's doing the opposite of what her parents are doing because her friends are all telling her that that's not the way you're supposed to be, that this is the way you're supposed to be. Like, she's always harping on about how her friends all have this stuff, and then her friends ostracize her. They make her feel bad for not being caught up in life with where they are. And I hated her friends so much through this show, and when she finally gains that acceptance with them, and that turns out to not be true, and the guy that she gets involved in, I think, was fantastic. He was really fun to watch.
Yeah, you don't really get to see much of him in the first episode.
Yeah, you eventually get to see more of him, and I think he's great, and I love the relationship that kind of that starts to form there. But that was it wasn't something that ever occurred to me while watching it, but you're 100% right. It does seem weird that it would be, why is she pursuing this life, and when, you know, nobody's forcing her to, and it's the social aspect of it. It's her friends. It's the people that she grew up with and respects outside of her parents.
Gotcha.
And
there's also a societal aspect to it, because later, I mean, and again, you guys didn't see the rest of the show, but later there is some press coverage, like some manipulated press coverage of the band that makes them look like basically angry Muslim women, like rebelling against the, you know, patriarchal whatever of their culture. And that's not who they are or what they're trying to do or say. But Amina in particular gets so much shit for it, for like, how dare you, like, you know, we're, you know, in the world's eye, there's so much scrutiny on Muslim women and how we're supposed to be and look, and like everything we have to do and how hard we work to be perceived as like doing the right things. And then, you know, she went and joined this punk band and had this magazine article that made them look like they're a bunch of assholes and they hate the culture, and it made it look to her friends like she was rejecting everything that they were about, and that was like really crushing to her because their opinions of her mattered so much to her.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like one of the things that I like about this too is that for people who don't have any comprehension, this is like what television can do for you, right? Like, it opens you up to a world and a culture and an aspect of someone else's life or existence you would not have been a part of otherwise. Like, you wouldn't understand or experience. And it's not like watching this, we're going to be like super well versed in Muslim culture, understand anything fully
World
about
peace is solved. We did it, you guys.
right? Yeah. But like, it's really cool that like it does kind of feel like this takes you one step closer to being in a place where it isn't such a big deal, like, to have a show where the main characters and the cast are all Muslim. Like, it's kind of taking it back to Kamala Khan for me. And kind of like how at the time when I started reading that, I was like, I have not seen stuff like this outside of Habibi, which is a Craig Thompson novel, and it's a very, very different approach to storytelling and the Muslim culture. So like, it's nice to kind of see that like there's something like that out there, because I mean, I absorb as much as I can about shows that teach me about another culture via a pop culture medium. Like, hell yeah, give me more of this, you know? Like, I watch K-dramas, I've watched like Irish stuff, British stuff, like now I've got something from the Muslim community. Like, yes, give me more, keep going.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of thoughts about Kamala Khan and Ms. Marvel. I'm not familiar with that character in the least, but I do know that she is Muslim. I've never read any of her stuff. But I'm very excited to watch the new shows because everyone loves this character so much, and I've always meant to read it, just never got around to it. And then after watching this, I'm like, this is pretty exciting, and it's also, I feel like this has got to be, and as long as it's being represented properly, which I can only assume it is, between this, I mean, I don't know how high profile it actually is, but Ms. Marvel is quite a high profile thing. It's pretty cool to get this kind of representation from this sect of society that thus far has not been extraordinarily well represented, because since I don't have any of these people in my life, learning about them through entertainment seems to be a pretty good way of doing so. And there's been very little in the way of positive figures painted in this light in any of the things that I've seen. And also, even if they are, they're kind of usually a bit on the stereotypical side. And these people all seemed extraordinarily real. Like, at the end of the day, watching this, and I don't know how stupid this makes me sound, but they all just, everyone there seemed like just totally relatable, normal people with just a different set of beliefs and lifestyle. And I don't know what I expected out of it otherwise, but it was just, the whole thing just felt so, I don't know, honest and approachable, like, because they're just people. And I feel like it's the kind of thing that's easily overlooked. Like, that they are just people. They just do things differently than you do, and that's fine. And I don't know, the whole thing just really kind of melted my brain in the best possible ways.
I also thought that there, were some neat approaches to the storytelling, the like sort of fantasy sequences. Were fun little exploration into Amina's head, and the band's music itself is also the more episodes you see, the more taste of the music you get, but it's pretty great.
I have to say, what was it? It was almost a crime noir thing when she's fantasizing about the guy.
The dude's eyebrows
God.
and stuff. Yeah.
That was fucking amazing.
Yeah, and they don't overdo that, which is wonderful. They do that a handful of times, but they do not overdo that.
No, they do it just enough so you're you can appreciate it, but not so little that when they do it, it's like, wait, what the hell's going on?
Right.
It's just enough.
That was fun. That was very fun for me. I liked that, especially because it just felt like it made sense for her as a character. Again, very relatable.
And in the beginning of the show, she's not interested at all in being in the band. So the only way you really get to appreciate her musical talent is in that kind of fantasy sequence where she's singing.
Yeah. And when she loses herself on stage because she thinks no one's watching, and she's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I'm excited. She seems like a character that's really fun to celebrate. But again, you have to be able to get past all of those really awkward moments, which can be very painful for someone as empathetic as Evan. So yeah, I'm definitely I'm going to be watching more of it, especially the more that we're talking about it, because it sounds like the story does go in some cool directions. And I'll let you guys know what I think.
Cool. I look forward to hearing it, and I hope there's more of this show. I wouldn't be terribly heartbroken if there wasn't, because it does wrap up pretty nicely. But at the same time, I would also be more than happy to follow more of what these women are going through.
Yeah, there's definitely more story here. Like you said, one of the hooks of the story for me, just having experienced it tangentially, is the trying to make it as a band kind of thing. That was a big part of our lives when you and I got together, and so I could appreciate that part of the story. And now they reach, by the end of the season, a certain point in that journey, and there's definitely more to explore past the point that they get to.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think that having reached that point would then have an impact on the individual characters' lives, which are just as interesting as their lives as a collective. particularly Bisma, the bass player, who is also a mother. God, every time she's on screen with her kid, I'm like, she's my, I want to be her when I grow up.
Aww.
There is this there's a scene where her husband accidentally says something stupid in front of their kid, and then she kind of calls him out on it, and it's so perfect.
I did not believe she was a mother at first. I'm just going to point that out because she looked like way too young. I was like, holy crap. Why do I keep seeing women like this that I can't believe they're a mother.
Well, it happens to all sorts of women. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed it, Angie. I'm sorry that it made you uncomfortable, Evan.
You get used to it after a while,
I
having
understand
this feeling.
completely your reasons for feeling the way you did about it. And overall, I'm glad we watched it, and I also hope that there is more.
Yeah.
Yepers.
Yeah, it's a good time.
So I think that's gonna do it, Christopher.
That's me.
Uh-oh.
Dost thou have a spiel?
Oh, I do. It's around here somewhere.
So before we get into the spiel, I'm sorry, Chris, I just saw this and it is tangentially TV related. Did you see the guy who won the gold for windsurfing?
Yeah.
Did you see that, hon?
No?
Okay, he's a Dutch guy. Won the gold for windsurfing.
Of course he is.
Look at him.
What the fuck? Hold on. Did he do the Avatar arrows?
He
Get
did.
the fuck out.
He did the Aang.
He
did the
shaved
Aang.
his hair and dyed it blue like Aang's arrow on his head.
Oh my god,
So-
that's so cool. That's
so-
why he won, guys.
Yeah.
He was airbending.
It just took me a minute to go.
That seems like cheating.
I would think so. Is there a rule against that in the Olympics?
Listen, not if you can tap into the elements, man. He fucking earned that monk shit.
It's natural talent.
Oh man, that's so cool.
All right, whenever you're ready for the spiel.
This week's episode is not filmed before a live studio audience, but it is fueled by feedback from listeners like you, and you can get in touch with us in a multitude of ways. We have an official Geekade Discord where there's an entire This Week's Episode channel dedicated to all things TV talk. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram through the official Geekade channels or the more specific Twepcast accounts, and of course the four of us can be found in various ways. I'm available on Twitter at Geekade Chris, and you can read my work at StoneAgeGamer.com and in the pages of Nintendo Force magazine. Karen, where can people find you?
I am on various socials at STM Stitches on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Etsy, and TikTok.
Angie, where can people find you?
Go to my website. Go to www.angelafernot.com and you can go to my store link and look at the Etsy site where you're going to get Tales of Cape Fear, or you can find all my social medias, or you can look at my art.
And Evan, where can people find you?
Geekade_Evan.
If you need to know more about the shows we discussed, you're so eloquent. If you need to know
Simple,
more
straight
about the
to the
shows
point.
we discussed tonight or what we'll be watching in the future, have a look at our show notes. And if you have any other questions at all, we can always be reached at mail@geekade.com. Just include the words "this week's episode" in the subject line so we know who you're trying to reach. This show is available anywhere fine podcasts are sold, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, and more. And wherever you decide to listen, please like, comment, follow, subscribe, leave reviews, because any and all feedback is welcome and appreciated. Again, as always, keep your eyes on geekade.com for more fresh, original content. Catch it.
Oh boy, I don't know what we're catching over here at this point. We're going to catch our next episode of Homework, which is going to be Who and What.
It's my turn, right?
I think so.
I think.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
I've
my
lost.
turn.
I've lost the thread.
I've lost track,
sure.
but I think it's me then Chris. Okay,
I thought it was after Chris.
I came across this show on a just real falling down a rabbit hole kind of thing. It's called Ultra City Smiths. We're gonna watch season 1, episode 1, the pilot. I am oddly intrigued by it. We're gonna check this out. So I have no idea, never watched it, but I definitely am interested. So Ultra City Smiths, season 1, episode 1.
Okay then. Well, I have no idea what that is, but I guess I'll find out.
I need you to know right now that from looking at the cover of it, Evan's gonna get dick punched tonight.
So it looks to be. So do you remember? America, fuck yeah.
Yeah. No, you're gonna. You got this,
what is the name
team.
of that,
The South Park guys?
Yes.
Not Aqua Teen Hunger Force, because that
Nope.
just got stuck
Team.
in my head.
Team.
Team America World
There
Police.
you
Team America
go.
World Police.
So they did that with the marionettes. It looks similar to that, but these are dolls, like baby dolls.
They look like the Japanese ball jointed dolls. Karen, have you seen those?
No.
Okay, so never mind. God damn it. Okay, anyone else who's like a super duper weird nerd who's seen this, it kind of reminds me of that.
Super duper weird.
No.
Well, this
aren't.
all seems
Well,
horrible.
no, I was like, well, Karen's really smart and she knows a lot of things, so maybe she's heard about this, but the reason that I learned of them was because of crazy weird nerds. So that was my hope for, you're just smart, but now it's just because I know it from being weird. So,
They're baby dolls.
oh God, no, it's so much worse than I thought.
It's baby dolls.
Oh no.
With I think it's. I don't. It's so.
Oh, this is my nightmare. My size Barbie all over again.
Close.
Oh dear. Well, until such nightmares come to fruition, I think we'll say goodnight for tonight. For all of us here at this week's episode, I'm Karen.
I'm Angie and Barbie is watching.
I'm Evan.
Catch it!
Good night.
And this concludes our broadcast day.